Coach, you've had a couple of scrimmages against, opponents that weren't your own players. What did you see, and are you happy with what you saw?
Well, the two close scrimmages that we had were against teams that had good athletic ability, played extremely hard. So it was good for us just to kind of measure those characteristics of our team. I thought we've made progress. There's no doubt about it. We've done a good job defensively, done a good job on the glass. Obviously, some of those segments that you do in those scrimmages have some points in it that you see where some of our problems may surface. Consistent ability to put the ball in the basket and find guys that can score points, but for the most part, being able to play against someone else it has helped us. I always like at least one exhibition game so the guys get the full feel of a game. Uniforms on, crowd in the stands, going through the tunnel, all those things. But with the situation with our facilities, we just couldn't do that.
You like to put the emphasis on defense. What did you see from the defense?
Well, we are getting better defensively. I think there's a greater consciousness in terms of being there to help out your teammate. And we want to play defense. 5 guys are covering the ball, 5 guys are working together, and 5 guys are rebounding the ball as well. And so I think there's been a greater emphasis on that, and I think our guys have responded pretty well to it.
In terms of excitement, are you sensing some from the players ready to get it started and see what you can do?
Well, I think it will start ramping up starting today. We had yesterday off, and this is game week now, starting it off, and guys are always excited at this time. What we need to make sure is that we have our objectives clear and what we want to accomplish and some of the progress mile markers that we want to meet come Friday night.
How important are, you're going up to Charleston and playing a tournament, how important are those tournaments in terms of the bonding experience to get out for 4 days with the team? And
well, those tournaments obviously have become not only very important but also very popular. To play those amount of games in a shorter period against the type of opponent that you play always gives you a good early season barometer of where you're at. One of the negatives with those tournaments is you start condensing so many games in a short period. We'll play 6 games prior to Thanksgiving. That's a lot of games, and so we'll have a pretty good feel for where we're at and where we want to get to and the steps that we're going to need to take to get there.
Is that probably the hardest part with the short bench, going into that kind of thing?
No question about it. That is, and that's it's a concern, because what you want to do after games is be able to get back on the practice floor, work on the things that you've seen that you need to get better at, continue to build on the things that you're doing well. Obviously, just in terms of sheer number with those games, there's less practice time, and with that practice time, with a little thinner roster, you can't do as much, and so that's a negative. But that's the one thing is we're aware of that going in, so we have to do a good job of managing that challenge.
You've talked about using the 1-4 offense at times out there. Is that the way you open a game, as far as the personnel you put out there to start a game?
When you say
one inside?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think you want to make sure you have the court spaced and spread to allow for dribble penetration, to allow screening action, to create open opportunities, but also to be able to feed the post. One of our biggest concerns offensively, as I mentioned, is just the ability at times to score points. Where are those points going to come from? With that being said, we know there's 3 areas that you have to do a good job of creating some easy baskets, and that's in transition, that's in scoring in the post, and that's in offensive rebounds. And so, irregardless of what you're doing offensively, if you can get some points in those 3 areas, that definitely helps your offensive efficiency.
Has anybody surprised you so far in practice based on what you saw maybe last year or knew about them coming into this? Is anyone maybe?
Well, I think everybody's made improvements, so you're not surprised by that. At the same time, you know, I've been pleased more than surprised, just in terms of guys' desire and acceptance of new things and wanting to learn. It's a group that does want to please, which is important, and at the same time, I think guys are making some positive strides.
In those two exhibition game or scrimmages, did you see anyone that might step into that scorer's role that you're looking for?
Well, I mean, again, I think the concern in the ability to score baskets is on a consistent basis. You know, Brandon Reed had some stretches where he was able to put the ball in the basket. So did Jason Morris, able to score inside some with Cam and Daniel. Mufan's been probably the most consistent in those two games or two scrimmages, but you know, that's the challenge, is the consistency. You know, right now we're consistently inconsistent when it comes to that.
In the areas there were some areas obviously that don't come together over time. Is there anything some area that you preach that you want to have together by this opening?
Well, we have to defend. You know, we have to guard the dribble, and we have to be there to help guard the dribble. Where five guys again are guarding the ball, and then, you know, immediately we have to be a tremendous rebounding team. You know, we can't do a great job defensively on the first shot and give up easy second or third shots. You know, every time the second shot, teams shoot 15 percentage points higher than the first shot, and then another 15 on the third shot. So you have to do a good job of controlling your defensive glass. If you do those two things, those actually obviously act as a precursor to being able to get out and run and try to get some easy baskets in transition. And many times the best time to score in the post is in transition. And many times the best way to offensive rebound is before the defense is set, which is in transition. Again, the pace that you want to play at does not always end up in a quick shot. It has to end up in a high percentage shot.
Any nerves on your end for your first game?
No. Excitement, you know. I mean, being able to step on the court and again, I always say what an honor it is to be the head coach at Georgia Tech. Something I take very serious, and with a great understanding of the tradition of this program, the type of men that have not only put on the uniforms but also wore the ties on the sideline as well. And just to be part of that is something that is, for me, it's awesome. I mean, it really is. But at the same time, when the ball's tipped up, I have one job, and that's to try to help our guys be as successful as they can and to play the best that they can during that 40-minute stretch.
You spoke of the situation with the arenas being something that stood in the way of exhibitions. How much time have you been able to spend there to get a comfort zone for? We
had an hour and a half shoot around, offensive review, get to know the arena at Gwinnett, and that was good. That was good. And we'll be able to, you know, on a few of the games there, be able to get, you know, maybe a half an hour shooting in on game day. So, you know, just being able to get in there, and, you know, we're fortunate. We've had a few players play in the state tournament games out there as well, so it wasn't their first time in the arena.
And when was that? Hour and a half?
That was last Wednesday.
What was your first impression?
Well, you know, it's I've seen it on TV in some of the games that they've hosted there previously. You know, it's obviously a multi-use facility, but I think with the opportunity of some new fans and some of our alumni base up that way, I think it could be, you know, turned into, during those 5 games, something that really works out well for us.
Is this a little bit of a recruiting tool too, being able to get into some different areas, play in an NBA arena, and then you get to play at Gwinnett, which has been somewhat of a highlight for basketball recruiting?
You know, I think, you know, that it will, in both those opportunities, it may be a little more attractive or easier for some of the guys to get to. But at the same time, as you know, especially weekday games and Friday night games like this one is, high school basketball is just starting up. We're getting into state playoffs in football. So they have a lot of stuff going on as well. But at the same time, obviously, one of the things that we always try to do is get as many recruits and potential prospects as we can to the games, because we just have a firm belief that the more players get to know about Georgia Tech basketball and this great institution, the better off we are in recruiting.
To go back to what you were saying about the depth and practice and that concern, I've seen teams have to make liberal use of trainers to have a good 5-on-5 workout. I mean, can you give me some examples of
Well,
that?
we with the bodies, but we have 2 former walk-ons that are seniors for us this year that have been put on scholarship. They've earned those 2 scholarships with Derek and Nick. And then, currently we have, 3 other, students here that have also walked on and has helped us out quite a bit in practice and so forth. Have you seen our trainer? He won't be out there doing any, I mean, he makes Spud Webb look like Kareem. You know what I mean? So he won't be out there doing any of that.
He's thick too.
Yeah.
Morehouse might trot out a 5-5 guard, or
Yeah.
Okay.
All
Thanks,
good.
Coach.
All
Appreciate it.
good.